Hi guys, I'm Ashton. I'm a psychic channeler if you're new here, and I wanted to talk about and tell you guys a little bit about what you can expect as a collective to change over the next 5 to 10 years in terms of the internet, technology, social media, the impacts of AI, and in general, what's going to happen. I feel like I've never been so called by my spirit team to share future predictions on a grand scale like I have been over the last month with this topic in particular. I really feel like they want me to share this with you, and also I'm going to tell you some things that I'm doing as a result of knowing this information preemptively before it happens. But you will also maybe be seeing some things that I'm about to say happen in your life already. You will probably have friends in your life who are reverting back to physical media, who are going analog, who are taking more time off of their phones, off of screens. This is the type of thing that I'm talking about. We are all part of the collective. We are all psychic. You could do exactly what I could do with a lot of practice and dedication, okay? You being privy to this happening before it happens is not coincidental, okay? I'm probably not saying new information, but I'm confirming information as somebody who is a psychic who can predict the future. This is probably going to happen. Let's get into it. I have my channeled notes in front of me here. So over the next 5 to 10 years, I think the way we use technology is going to shift drastically. Like I said, you are already probably starting to see this with people going analog, the resurgence of people wanting iPods, people wanting vinyls. Vinyl trend was a huge thing over the last, started in the pandemic, I think. The collection of CDs, the use of the library, these things are all integral to how our society is changing and how we use technology, the internet, and social media. These things that you are seeing, this move towards physical media, is a result of a lot of people who are tapping into that psychic energy of what is about to change in our society. And they're starting early. If you are starting this and you are going to physical media, going analog, you are ahead of the curve, okay? I do think that digital media will also become more transient, and we are already starting to see bits and pieces of this. Great example of this, the 1975 album, Being Funny in a Foreign Language, Matty Healy took Human 2 off the streaming version of the album. And for those of you like me who have the physical album, you have that song forever. Streaming does not have that song forever. It's gone. It's been deleted. And I think that's exactly when my spirit team says to me digital media will become more transient, that's exactly what they're talking about. Things being changed, removed, altered in some way, shape, or form. You cannot, and it will become to the point where you literally cannot trust digital media because it can shift at any moment. That's what I mean by transient. And I also think that for a lot of people who own these corporations for digital media, Apple Music, Netflix, Prime, Paramount, etc., I think money is a big deal for them, obviously because they're companies, but money is also going to be a big deal for the consumer. And I think as we get closer to the 8 to 10 year mark from now, I think people will also be really realizing that digital media was a huge waste of money. Huge waste of money. And I think that money aspect is really what shifts things. When you realize, what am I actually spending my money on? I don't own any of these things. These things can be taken or altered or changed away from me at any moment. It really gets you thinking. I think people who are early to the curve are those undergoing some type of spiritual evolution and some type of enlightenment, which these are big words, but kind of just raising the consciousness. We live in a low level consciousness world. Okay? And I think as people start to realize, hey, these things aren't really working. I don't really like them anyway. Why do I feel like I still want to do them, but I don't like them at the same time? That is really going to clue in a lot of people to their spiritual evolution, to their spiritual awakenings. And I think in the age of digital media, for some reason, that is going to trigger a lot of people into a spiritual awakening as they realize things are not exactly as they are sold. And I think a big thing, and a big aspect of this as well, is realizing the individual's values do not align with the values of where your money is going. I think over the next 5 to 10 years, going back to the money aspect, people are going to be more intentional about where they spend their money and where their values are aligned with their money. Which then begs the question, do these streaming services have the same values as we do? Do these mega corporations have the same values as we do? Probably not. I do think overall streaming will be the last to go. I think TV, movie, music, streaming, anything that falls under the streaming category will be the last to go over the next decade. So by the 10-year mark, it will still be with us, but I think by the 10-year mark, you will start to see its popularity decline severely. Do you think that is because there will be a large event that triggers people to do so? I don't feel like it's just happenstance. I feel like there's something that happens in the world, in the news, to people, regular people, that then shows everybody, okay, we need to get away from this. Like, I can't be giving my money here. I can't be doing that. First, people are going to think, oh, it's just a trend. Like, it's just a trend. Like, whatever. Like, it's not going to happen. You know, it's not going to stick. It's whatever. And it will. And the more people that remove themselves from relying on digital media, the more other people will do so. And I do think it is because of an external thing that happens. And it causes people to question digital media, streaming, social media, and tech like Google Homes, Alexa, those types of things. I do feel like the large event is maybe in some way related to streaming and then related to that type of technology. I couldn't really say explicitly in what way, but I know that it is kind of within that realm. I think the biggest thing about all of this too is what that really leads to, because I think it's also connected to the rise of AI. Like, I can't talk about this and also separate AI as a concept from this, because it also leads into social media, anything digital, right? Social media will experience its downfall over the next decade for a few reasons. Number one, my spirit team says it won't be safe anymore, because you can't tell what's real and what is not. You think AI slop is bad now? In 10 years, it will be all AI slop. Social media will be unrecognizable. It will be so vastly different, you won't even know. It will be like people are nostalgic for the days of some AI slop, but some human-made content. There will also be a decrease in how you can make money on social media, especially apps that have short-form content, TikTok, Instagram, videos in particular. I think it's easier to fake videos for some reason over the next 10 years than it is to fake writing. So apps like Twitter or Substack or even some parts of Instagram, right? But it really is the short form content that is taking its hit of it is not safe anymore. My spirit team also said that leader of a social media shows bad faith in something, even though they have a friendly face. There is really something that I feel is maybe connected to the values of people, realizing that our values are not aligned with the values of people who own these apps, these corporations, these businesses. I do think as well, AI will be adopted as commonplace, but it makes everyone in the general population yearn for human-made things. I also think that what this sparks is kind of like our own Renaissance era. Like, when you think of Renaissance era in history, you probably think of really beautiful art. You probably think of like these beautiful, just like rich human experiences made into art, into sculptures, into paintings. And I think we're maybe about to have a resurgence of that type of thing because of AI slop, leading us to really prioritize and be in awe of human-made things. Not even just art, I think art will probably be the main focus, but human-made anything, handmade anything will be really important. As we as a society continue to yearn for anything untouched by AI, and we can't get that from social media, where does that lead us? It leads us back to our real lives. It leads us back to engaging with each other in the real world. Like, there really will be this resurgence of third spaces. People talk about this all the time. Third spaces have been eradicated because the third space is your phone. And when that's gone, people look, where can I go? Where can I go? Where are these third spaces? Where can I go hang out? There will be a resurgence of people returning to their real lives. I really do strongly believe that. But I think for younger generations, people who are born 2015 to 2020, I think returning to their real lives is going to be extremely difficult, because what real lives do they have to return to? They've spent their entire upbringing on iPads, on iPhones, on these apps that rot your brain. it is going to be so difficult, especially for younger generations, to reintegrate back into the world away from digital media. That really, when I see this in a big picture, really feel so bad for these kids. This period of time where we've had such a resurgence of technology and digital media and social media and the internet and AI, I think that this period of time is going to be a warning for future generations, because I think that what is born out of this and then going back into the real world, away from social media, away from our phones, away from digital media and the way that we've been using it in particular, I think that what this breeds, especially because the younger generations will suffer so much more, is there will be activists, there will be protests, there will be people advocating for these young, vulnerable people who are now thrust into this world of going back to your real life that they don't recognize. They will not recognize it. They will not know what to do. And I feel in a lot of ways, the people born between 2015 and 2020, as they grow up and over the next 10 years, will be stunted in some way, shape, or form. And that leads to activists. It leads to political change. It leads to safeguarding for younger generations against certain digital media, certain social media, certain technology pieces. There is going to be that long-lasting warning for future generations, and we're the example of what not to do, unfortunately. My spirit team also says we are currently making mistakes that are irreparable. There is going to be long-lasting implications on younger generations for the most part, but also on people who are fully grown right now. How do you go back to a real life when you spend so long running from it? It is going to be so difficult. I really feel a lot of people are going to struggle, but I do feel in particular people are going to want to protect kids the most. So what am I doing as someone who knows all of this information? Am I acting in accordance with this? You bet your britches I am. I've always collected physical media, music in particular. I have collected vinyls since 2020. I have my CD collection, which my phone is currently propped up on. Books especially. I'm working on building up my books media repertoire. I got rid of a lot of my books years ago, so I'm rebuilding it up. I have canceled my music streaming this year. I have decided to go back to listening to CDs, listening to vinyl, going to the library, borrowing CDs. Here I have my CDs I borrowed from my local library. I am going back to physical media. That is one of the things that I have always wanted to do and have never felt like it felt right, but now my spirit team has told me this and I said, okay, heard and seen. If you are also doing something similar, collecting CDs, vinyl, movies, TV shows on DVD, buying your favorite books that you've read from the library, you go, I really like this one, I really want a copy, you're ahead of the curve. Congratulations. I have also, over the last year, been making an extreme effort to curb my phone addiction, and I know we all have one of those. In November 2024, I deleted TikTok. I have not been on TikTok since because it took up a lot of my time. It took up a lot of my brain space, and when I deleted TikTok, I remember my brain would be like, okay, time to scroll. I'm doing an activity, my brain would say scroll. And it really took a long time for me to get out of that mentality of, okay, I need to scroll about this. I have put time limits on all of my social media, on Twitter, I'm not calling it X, Instagram, Facebook. Those are the only 3 social media apps I use religiously. 30 minutes a day for all 3, maximum. Do I still hit remind me in 15 minutes? Yes. It is work in progress. And as I've quit social media, or tried to, minimized it, I should say, minimized my use, I have also gotten back into hobbies I once enjoyed as a child. Collecting and listening to music was one of those. Writing was one of those. Drawing, just for shits and giggles. Going to the library, going for walks, hanging out with my friends. I feel like I have a lot more time to do things I love, engaging in my own personal spiritual practice. When you're not scrolling your phone, there's lots of time to meditate. Overall, I've been trying to be more present in the life that I'm leading and not so much let it pass me by. I only have so many days, and I decided I did not want to waste any more of them on my phone uselessly. I've been making a big effort to go back to my real life, and it has been so fruitful. and really just time for myself. Things that feel healthy for me. I think it has led me to make more healthy choices in my life and to really prioritize myself. I'm still working on removing streaming platforms for movies, TV. I don't generally watch a lot of TV by myself, so I still have one streaming service, mostly because that one singular one in Canada is the only one that has Law and Order, and that is mine and my roommate's comfort show, so that is the only place we can watch it. So that is still something would love to have a physical media version of, but one day we will get there when I find it in the thrift store, because that is the other thing. I am only thrifting for my physical media collection other than for vinyl. That is one of the only things I don't have luck thrifting for, so I buy those new. But CDs, books, etc., I am working on building up my collection by thrifting them, not buying them firsthand, which I also feel for some reason plays into this whole moving away from this digital age. Thrifting is also integral to that, but I think you will also start to see that thrifting physical media will reach such heights in thrift stores. You go into a thrift store right now, what's the date today? December 27th, 2025. You go into a thrift store now, physical media for DVDs is stocked full. I've been to multiple thrift stores over the last few months, DVDs, movies, TV shows, with the film wrap still on them in the thrift store. Never been played, never been opened. I'm hitting jackpots, and the shelves are stocked full. That is about to change, and I really do feel that, especially in 2026, that is about to be the thing to thrift physical media. So if you've been wanting to do this and you've been really procrastinating, now's your time to jump on it and really get to it, because the prime time for everybody to do that is coming, especially for movies and DVDs and TV on DVD. I know this is a lot of information, and I don't share this with the public to scare you. I don't share it to instill fear within you. I share this because I feel it will help lead people to make better choices. Technology, digital media, social media is something we really rely on very heavily right now in this period of time, and I think the sooner we start to wean ourselves off, the better off we will be as time progresses on. So I don't say this to scare you, I say this to educate you, to give you the power of knowledge. It should be very interesting to see how these things come to fruition, how these things play out, and hopefully this helps you a little bit, maybe validates you in your own experiences of wanting to move more towards analog and physical media, or maybe inspires you to think differently about the way you do consume media, the way you use social media. But this has been your Psychic Report with yours truly, and I hope you guys take care of yourselves.